Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing. I'm going to try to take a very confusing subject and try to make this video as short as possible to help some of you guys. If you're a professional detailer and you're offering some type of odor removal, I've done videos about how to do it naturally, well not naturally, but with chemicals and be very effective with it. If you're really going to take odor removal seriously, you're going to want some type of ozone generator, and I'll explain to you the differences between these two machines I have on the table here. This video is not going to be about what is the best generator. I will get into that in a future video, and it will be a personal claim of mine based on experience. But really the most important key word to this video is shock treatment. This machine right here happens to be made by a company called Rainbow Air. Again, I'm not throwing them under the bus because this is a nice machine, depending on what type of odor you're removing. This machine will produce about 1,000 to 2,000 grams of O3 per hour inside a vehicle. Actually, this machine sits outside a vehicle and you actually pipe it through a tube into the window. That's important when it comes to removing really tenacious odors from a confined space like a vehicle. You want to close the vehicle up. You want to have an ozone generator sitting outside the vehicle because you want it drawing fresh oxygen into the machine or fresh air, because that's going to give you the most effective and pure O3 gases available to you to go after that odor that might be on the car. But these smaller boxes, any box rated, I'm going to make a claim, any box rated below 5,000 grams per hour, really at best, and a lot of these companies are awfully transparent, but you don't know what it means. They'll call them air purifiers, and that's absolutely true, because if we actually look at how O3 gases work in Mother Nature, O3 gases, believe it or not, can either mask an odor or permanently remove an odor. Well, this is where shock treatment becomes really, really crucial. I'll give you an example. Remember the days when Mike Tyson was fighting? A lot of us were paying a lot of money for pay-per-view fights, and he was winning his fights in the first round. How did Mike Tyson do that? Well, Mike Tyson was one powerful dude, and his first punch was the most tenacious punch sometimes, and if he connected just right, his opponent was knocked out the first round. If not knocked out, he was greatly wobbled or very, very woozy, and Mike Tyson just needed one more punch to take him out of the round and win the fight. When it comes to ozone generators, you want to look at the grams per hour that are available to you to be able to pump into the car. That's your Mike Tyson punch. This machine here is about 1,000 to 2,000 grams per hour, depending on how you set up the machine. This Max Blaster, again, this isn't about what's the best ozone generator out there. I'll go into that in the future. But this Max Blaster is a small little tube-like design. It also has a hose on the end of it that you can pipe through the window, just like that machine there. But this machine is 20,000 grams per hour. Well, that's 20 times more powerful than this machine here. This machine here really gives you that most important critical punch to be able to remove odors from a vehicle, especially when they're really tenacious. You need shock treatment therapy, if you will, to be highly effective. So when you're looking at ozone generators, and be very careful too, because there's a lot of these boxes that you might find on Amazon that make claims that there's 60,000, 65,000 grams per hour. Folks, I'm going to be very honest with you. A lot of these companies aren't very transparent. The generator plates may be able to produce that type of grams per hour, but the fan, all these other equations have to come into play. Many of them are just filled with false promises, lots of hype, and their generators just can't produce that in the real world. So be very careful with some of these generators that you see with high grams per hour on Amazon. This machine here, this Rainbow Air machine, again, I'm not bashing the company, has a ceramic plate. This is kind of popular with a lot of these machines. These ceramic plates are then connected to like a 5,000 volt transformer, and this ceramic plate will actually glow purple and start producing O3 gas. There's a fan in the back, a blower that can draw fresh air. If you have this outside the vehicle, will draw fresh air and blow across these ceramic plates to be able to produce O3 gases. Now, this Max Blaster has something very similar to it. It's got a generator pack. This one's a little bit different than that ceramic plate. This has kind of, they all have the same concept. You got to have some type of generator pack to produce O3 gases, and this is what this one looks like inside the Max Blaster. This one is much more efficient, much more powerful to give you that punch like a Mike Tyson to be able to permanently remove odors from inside a vehicle. But this generator pack or this power pack, believe it or not, it's got some funky things to it. You got to maintain these things no matter which one you buy. A lot of these generator or power packs or these ceramic plates, it's very important if you do this professionally to maintain your machines. After 1 or 2 services with either one of these machines, I'll take my machines apart and check these plates. You don't want any dust building up on them. You don't want any moisture building up on them. That will greatly diminish its ability to produce pure O3 gases, and it can also prematurely make these things begin to fail. You would never want to hook this up to a car for 2 or 3 hours and you didn't realize one of the plates wasn't working, and you've wasted all that time. So it's very important as a professional to maintain these things. I'm very diligent how I do that. I do it quite often. Usually after 2 services, I take the machine apart. I may use like a computer aerosol can duster thing and just blow them out, make sure there's no dust building up on the generator pack or the power pack or the ceramic plates, make sure they're always dry, make sure the machines are always stored in a controlled environment. I just don't throw them in the back of my truck and just let them get hot, build up dust and moisture. That's just not really a great way to maintain these things and be effective. Both of these machines have the ability to be able to pipe in O3 gases into a car, but they're uniquely designed because they can also draw fresh air because you're going to have these outside the vehicle. That's really important. This box here, if I took these 4 screws off and pulled this cone off, I can set this inside a confined space like a car. But I'm going to tell you something about some of these machines. Even the 20,000 gram per hour machine, if I'm not drawing fresh air into the machine, I left this in the car, closed all the doors, the machine will begin to draw O3 gases into the back of the machine. This is where these generators will begin to fall right off into the dead zone. They're not going to help you. They're not going to give you that punch. They're not going to give you pure O3 to permanently remove odors. So it's really important, especially for cars, that you pick an ozone generator that could be used outside the vehicle, and secondly, it has to have a huge punch. My opinion is any machine over 10 to 15,000 grams per hour is really going to give you that shock treatment needed to remove really bad odors from a car. So that's what you want to be looking at. You also want to look at machines that can be stored, that can be used outside the vehicle, not put them inside the vehicle. I also want to talk about being very careful when you use these machines. Even if you've got it outside the vehicle, you've got a shock treatment type of machine, be careful what cleaners you use before using the ozone generator. I'm not throwing Spray 9 under the bus. Spray 9 is actually a great cleaner on its own. I have noticed with Spray 9, and this is a really important point when it comes to O3 gases being pumped into a car to try to remove odors from a vehicle, you have to be careful with surfactants you're using on certain materials inside the vehicle. I have found that Spray 9 being used and then using an ozone generator right after that, certain surfactants within this cleaner and other cleaners as well can begin to bring on a new odor inside the vehicle. If you're going to get into this type of business and understand how O3 gases work and how generators work in conjunction with certain cleaners, you really have to take this seriously and understand how it works, or else you could be introducing a new odor into the vehicle. That's really important. The other thing with a lot of these machines that you place inside the vehicle, close the door, let it run for 3 hours. I've heard guys let these things run overnight. You have to be really careful with that because there's certain types of gases that can develop inside the car when these machines cannot draw fresh air. That could be potentially dangerous to the user or the owner of the vehicle. Always important when it comes to cleaning or really permanently removing odors from cars. Get an ozone generator that can be used outside the vehicle, pipe it in through a window. Make sure it has shock treatment availability to you. It's got to have that Mike Tyson punch or you're wasting your time, because O3 gases can mask odors. When it happens in Mother Nature, right? O3 gases can come out, kind of grab onto a odor. But you got to remember, our ambient air, our ambient space is so huge, sometimes that O3 gas can take an odor, bring it somewhere else, and it can diminish over time. But when we're talking about inside a vehicle where we need to shock treat that car, we need something with a lot of O3 to be able to pump in there and really neutralize those odors and kill it permanently. Smaller boxes, less than 5,000, really less than 10,000 grams per hour, could potentially just be giving you a masking O3 ability. And I've seen this so many times. A lot of professional detailers in my area will have these small machines, offer a service, and then about 4 months later, that same customer is calling me saying, Scott, the first detailer didn't get it. That's because he used far too small of a machine. He also closed it inside a car. MaxBlast is a great unit for shock treatment. I'll show you a generator that I really love in the future. Sorry I don't have it with me because I have a fellow detailer here in Dallas that had some really bad smells. Actually, he had some failure rates using a small machine. He asked if he could borrow mine, and I said, of course, you're welcome to it. Folks, I hope this helps you out. It's a 10-minute video, I'm so sorry, but O3 generators or generator machines or ozone machines, however you want to look at it, can be highly effective. You have to know how to use them. You have to know how to pick them that have shock treatment ability. Make sure they can also be used outside the vehicle to draw fresh air. I love you. I hope that helps you out. Again, maintain these things is very important. You want years and years of service. No matter what the company claims, you have to maintain these things. Blow dust out. Keep them in a controlled environment. Be careful how you store them. And always look at them before you do any type of treatment for a client. Make sure the plates are glowing purple and it's working properly, or you're going to be wasting your time. I love you all. I hope that helps you out. Talk to you soon.